Hi, my name is Malcolm Clemens Young, and I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. And this is my More Good News broadcast for the third week of March. We've seen an alarming rise in the number of hate crimes against Asian Americans. Just in the last year, there are 3,800 hate-related incidents that were reported. And here in the Bay Area especially, we've seen an increase in violence, especially against senior citizens who are Asian Americans. And it's very disturbing, but it's part of a long-term history. Grace Cathedral is connected to that history, and I want to tell a story about that tonight. In 1897, Chojiro Aoki came to America to form a community of Japanese here in San Francisco, which became Japantown. He was very closely related to the Episcopal Church, our church, and he was ordained as an Episcopal priest and ministered in Seiko Kai congregation, which is a Japanese congregation here in the city that still exists. He had a brother named Chojiro who also came with him. And in the course of this working together of white and Japanese Christians, Ellen and Chojiro fell in love with each other. Ellen was the daughter of basically the assistant to the bishop, the canon to the ordinary, the archdeacon of the diocese, a very prominent person in the Episcopal Church. And this relationship was, the two of them fell so deeply in love. They knew there was nothing that they could do but get married. And it made newspaper headlines across the United States. New York Times reported on it, etc. And but every single force in society fought against them. The California Assembly even passed a law basically banning relationships between Japanese and whites. And they left San Francisco basically after a mob forced them out. They went to Portland and they were forced out of Portland too. But St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Seattle, the two were married. And they began a life together, a life in which Helen's citizenship was taken away and the two of them were treated terribly. My friend Brenda Aoki is the grandchild of the older brother, the Episcopal priest. And she tells me that the two families, of these two brothers, were separated from that moment and forever. And that she grew up not even knowing about this story. But she said that there are three things that she's learned in uncovering the facts and the details about this story. And the first is that shame, even when it's invisible, is passed down through the generations. It has a mark that's a multiplying factor. In each generation, it becomes worse. The second thing she says is how important it is for us to understand that history, to learn our own story, and to be able to speak truthfully about it. And the third thing she says is to teach us to stand firm in that authentic story, to learn how to tell it to others so that we can change our past and have a different kind of future. This is really what Americans are facing when it comes to racism. We need to learn our own story, to recognize that shame that infects every part of us and every institution in society, to identify it so that we can begin to move forward into a new future. My prayers are definitely with all our Asian American friends, brothers, sisters, siblings, everywhere during these difficult times. But I see a sense of opportunity and possibility because God is directing us to really begin to treat each other as family and to move forward past this racist history into a new future. Thank you very much for watching.